terrorism and propaganda is propaganda, and it's a means to scare people into submission.
Yes. Do you mind if we have a caller on the line? I'm sure he or she has some questions to ask you. Is that okay with you? I bring him or her on online?
Please do.
Okay, with your permission, of course, sir. Please 905 area code, and right now we have open lines to please anybody else wants to call in. They welcome to, and I know how many people are listening right now, and from there are three ways I know how many people. So if you have any questions or comments from Dr. Moulden, the new president of the Canadian Action Party, he's with us, and so I'm going to release you 905. Just please tell me your name and your state and any comments you may have or questions. Thank you.
Well, hello there. This is Susan calling from Canada. How are you today?
Oh, how are you doing, Susan? How are you?
I'm doing excellent. You know, I was not aware that we had a new leader for the Canadian National Party, and we started blasting information around about Dr. Andrew Moulden, and I'm not kidding you. People are really, really excited about him. You know, one of the things that I believe, I'm a 49-year-old person born in Canada, and I know that for myself, I mean, we had to employ ourselves because many of us could not get jobs because there was so much immigration into Canada that if we were born here and we only spoke one language, well, employing yourself was about the only thing you could do. I do have a question, though. It's time that we take this country back, you know, like from one end of it to the other. For people like myself that are intelligent, smart, can speak, and what kind of opportunities are there for us in politics?
Well, in Canada, and thank you very much for the warm greeting. You know, I was not born and raised and educated to enter in a political scene, but unfortunately, the politics and the way it's been subverted by groups that do not have our best interests at heart has really taken over. And the individuals, no matter what party comes into power in our nation, or even starts gaining momentum of having following and a voice, a unified voice, which those who seek to suppress us in any ways see that. And when they see these powers coming into place, it's not too long before these well-intentioned groups and individuals are subverted and saboteured to a certain extent and brought along towards acquiescing these higher objectives that really don't have the best interest of the four-by and of the people in place. But for this is even the North American Union and the Security Prosperity Partnership and the Rockefellers themselves, David Rockefeller himself said, you know, the greatest threat to the nations, if you will, and their elitist globalization plan is a unified, educated. Pardon me?
I said especially to us here in Canada.
Yeah, very much so. So, pardon, it's hard to hear. I apologize. What was that?
I said they are a major threat.
Oh, very, 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 very much so. But we are a nation of 30 million people, and we are proud of our country and our sovereignty. And Mr. Trudeau did a fantastic job of organizing us from a nationalist perspective, but he'd be turning over in his grave if he saw what's going on right now. You have ministers and provinces and the federal government coming out with slogans, empower the provinces. The provinces are entering into trade and investment and labor mobility agreements that basically allow corporations to sue individual provinces if their interests and their profits are being restricted, which is against environmental rights. And has nothing to do at all with what's good for the provinces or the people. It's got to do with profiteering. And Canada has a unique role in this entire process because we are one of the original G7 countries. We are a country of 30 million people. We have still own our own bank, if you will, and so the Canadian Action Party at least has a plan. You know, even our one of our founding prime ministers as well, William Lyon Mackenzie King, he said it very clearly, and this is why and where we're at right now. He said, and I'll quote him. He said, "Once a nation parts with the control of its currency and credit, It matters not who makes the nation's laws. Usury once in control will wreck any nation, and until the control of the issue of currency and credit is restored to government and recognized as its most sacred responsibility, all talk of sovereignty, of parliament, and of democracy is idle and futile. We, as we were told, as a condition of becoming part of this globalization plan in the 1970s, we gave up control of using our Bank of Canada to fund our infrastructure. And at that time, as a nation, we had $18 billion in debt. We've now soared over $500 billion in debt, and of that, 95% of that is compound interest we'll never be able to pay back. But all we have to do, our laws allow it, is to go back to use our own bank, our own currency, our own credit to fund our infrastructure like we did to build this great country and pay ourselves interest rather than paying someone else. And doing that, then you're now not spending $60 billion plus a year in interest to private companies when this money belongs to the people on our social programs that we're all crying for, because as we say there's no money, we have lots of resources here. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Susan, that we do have an educated population here. And if we do come together under a unified collective group and we do march together towards the same drum, we can stop this process here. And doing so, claiming it one nation becomes a model as a domino effect for the others to follow suit. But it is critical to regain control of the currency, because as we've seen the fiascos unfolding in the United States with the Federal Reserve, we can't allow ourselves in this country to go down that path, and we've already freely given up that path, and we'll never get out of this debt we're creating, and our future children we're going to bequeath them a disaster that will no longer be the Canada that we've all grown up with and loved, and I'm all for us all coming together and standing up and standing out and standing strong and standing united.
Now, where do people find your website?
The website is called CanadianActionParty.ca, and right now we have another one our web team is working on called CanadianActionParty.net. It is in process of being built, and we are in the midst of transitioning the party from Western Canada to Central Canada, and we have a plan, and we have intent, and we have no will whatsoever of standing idle and standing back and saying, well, this is just the way it is. That sort of mentality is handing over the keys to nationhood, and we're not intending to do that. And I thank you very much for your call and your interest as well. We can do this. And unfortunately, the NDP, our New Democratic Party in Canada, who was promised us all along that they would fight these various forces, unfortunately they themselves have stopped talking about this. If they're not talking about the Security and Prosperity Partnership, if they're not talking about the North American Union, if they're not talking about the loss of our sovereignty and our infrastructure and the erosion of our borders and nationhood, then they're not standing up for the people, because I was just appalled to see that these issues did not even breach the public domain in this last federal election. But this is the core of our country being bought and sold, and its future is being charted by individuals who are not Canadian, who do not have Canadian nationality at their core. And the founding leader of the Canadian Action Party, Mr. Paul Hellyer, who reached Deputy Prime Minister status under the Trudeau government, he said, and I enjoy quoting him because it's quite relevant to what's going on. He quoted, "The new world without borders will be like a zoo without cages, and only the most powerful of the species will survive, and Canada is not going to be one of them." And as a Canadian, I don't want my nation to fall, and if I'm still breathing, it's not going to. But I need other Canadians like yourself to stand up and join us as we go and try and integrate all these groups that many of us see the same issues. The Council of Canadians see that there are many individual groups across the nation who are involved in their own issues one way or another, that if we all realize that we are truly fighting the same dominating forces that have their own agenda, that coming together under a singular sort of venue of for, by, and of the people, those individuals across 308 ridings in our nation can reclaim our sovereignty, can reclaim our democracy, and can start responding to these at the individual level of a true democracy that's accountable and transparent and paves the way for the future, the way this great nation was intended to be formed. Because